Welcome back to the channel, and in today's video we're going to be looking at refreshing the diff off the M5 in the Revival project. And it's not going to be a full rebuild. I just want to take it apart, have a look inside, and probably end up replacing the clutch packs and then anything else that I see that's untoward inside the LSD unit. I'll paint the case up as well, just make it look overall a bit better. I've already drained the fluid out of there, and I've cleaned off some of the surface rust around the top there on the output flanges, so I can look at removing these, but they need to be keyed to know which one's from which side and what orientation, and obviously the shims in between the two set the backlash, and then the backlash is basically that free play that's in the diff. So what I'm going to do is we'll get these marked first, and then maybe pop the cups out, and then have a look at getting the rear cover off and see if we can start getting the LSD unit out of there. Okay, so marking the diff, what I've done is I've gone for 2 chisel marks on that side, and then on the left hand side we've just got 1. So what that does is it will make sure that I've got the output cups and flanges back in the same place as they come apart, and also there's a specific shim for each side as well. And what that does is that moves the internal of the LSD unit left to right, which affects the backlash, which is your free play between the pinion and the crown wheel. You might be able to see the little movement in there, a couple of mil or so. So basically that's what we want. Fluid's drained, so I'm going to get the pop these cups out and then look at getting the back cover off. Okay, so that's the rear cover off now, and now I'm going to start taking the output flanges off. Okay, so there's just 2 bolts left on each side now. I've got the diff down onto the floor, so it's a bit easier to work on. So if I take this side off here, okay, so that's one side off. Now I can lift the LSD unit out. That's the LSD unit. Okay, so I'll be impressed if this works with such small breaker bars. But what I've got is I've got a bolt onto the ring gear, obviously around the outside. What I'm going to try and do is crack the LSD bolts off. So when I pull round into here, it should in theory pull that one round into the floor. Okay, so the LSDU cluster's back up on the bench now. Pull the bolts out, you can see where they've been thread locked in from the factory. And then with the cover, it's just a case of leaving them up. What I'm going to do is disassemble it one piece at a time, and then I'll put them as the way that they came out. So you've got the two rings there, goes that way out, so we'll stack it into the lid like that, and you've got a beveled washer, and this one is with the conical facing outwards, so I'll put that into there as it was, and then this washer got the cutout bits again, and that was facing down onto there, so put that onto there. And then for this really you just want like a few different types of picks, so that has also got a conical shape to it, with the conical pointing up to the top again. So we'll put that one then on there, get that one up. And here's our first dog plate, so put that on there. And then our first clutch plate is there. And yeah, this is really good condition, to be fair. I've seen them before where all of the face there is marred and it's actually got grooves all the way around. I'll try and find a picture of one of these that I did about 10 years ago. It did exactly the same process, and you'll be able to see that how worn they were. There's a bit of wear starting, but yeah, nothing compared to that. So you can just see a little bit of hazing that's going on there. So what we'll do now is put that one upside down like that, and we take our first gear out. All teeth look good on there. And we've got our first pair of gears there. And another pair there. There we go, second one. So you can obviously see there how they rotate within each other there. It has just almost come out in one piece. So it's a mirror image of the other side. We've got the conical washer face, bit slippery, faces outwards. You've got the one with the two notches in, face down. You can do like that. And we've got another conical washer facing downwards. And then we've got another one with the two little nail bits in there that face the clutches there. And we've got a dog plate there, clutch plate, and yeah, that's in good condition again. If these are pitted, you can get replacement, you can get shims which you can put on as sort of a fresh surface, replace them. So, and then that is obviously on top of there like that. So all together that sits on there like that. So there's nothing left in there, all just needs a good clean out now, get all the old crap out. Welcome back. It's been a few weeks now since I stripped the diff. So we've got all the bits in, got clutch and dog plates from Racing Diffs. So as you can see there, new clutch discs. They have holes in them to help with oiling. And then we've got new pinion seal, pair of output shaft seals, and then a pair of seals for the outer casing parts there on the output side of things. Got fill and drain plugs, a lock washer for the pinion nut. So basically you tap that inside there and that locks the pinion off. Rear cover gasket, some genuine diff oil, and then I've used POR 15 on the casing and on the pinion as well. Got this little kit, comes with all 3 bits that you need. It goes really quite far. I've done the drive shafts as well, tidied them up with it. So yeah, what we'll do is we'll get cracking. First job will be the pinion seal. I've already taken him out, literally with the pinion off. You can I just got a screwdriver in there, like that, and yeah, pried him out. And then what I've got is I 3D printed this, so this will do the pinion seal and it'll also do the output shaft seals. So the idea is when you do the pinion seal, it just goes and hits the top of the surface there, so you can't press the seal in too far. And then for the output seals, it actually goes around the lip, so they're the old seals in there still which just need removing. So that will go and sit round the lip in there, so when you actually tap it in, it puts pressure on the seal and not on the outer metal ring of the seal, not on the rubber section. So we'll start with the pinion first. So with that, I just like to get it started. And then go around with the tool and just go. Using the little 3D printed tool, it goes and makes it so it's all nice and flush. It does just want to be in ever so slightly. So what you can do is you can flip it over to that side and then just yep, so that's good to go. Now we can put the pinion flange back on. So with the pinion nut, basically I've got a mark in there and a mark on the actual pinion itself, and I know that it is 10 full turns, and then it's just a case of tying it up till the lines mark up to get it back into where it was, because what that does is it changes the pressure on the crush sleeve, and that will affect your pinion depth and then the backlash with the and all the mesh with the crown wheel. So basically I'm not adjusting any of that. I've just got to tighten this nut up till it goes in line with there, and then that's back in line where it was, and it shouldn't affect the backlash or anything like that. It is a bit easier if you put this on the floor and do it, but for the sake so you can see exactly what I'm doing, I'll just hold it. There we go. Now that's our pinion and nut both lined back up, so that won't affect any of the pressure on the crush sleeve or anything along them lines. And then basically to lock that in its position, excuse me, you have a that lock washer, and then it's just a case of that in position. So as you can see there, it's gone and popped out into there, so that means that that is now locked in place. and it stops the nut backing off at all. So that's that side done, and then what we'll look at doing now is getting the output seals changed. We made these so they were handed, so I've got one with 2 notches, one with 1 notch as before. So we'll just work on one at a time, because we don't want to mix the shims up. So basically the lip will just fit inside the tool. Yeah, so if you can see inside, the actual lip of the seal is all inside, so when we tap down, we're actually tapping down on the metal bit without a risk of flattening it. So then it's just a case of same as the pinion. Okay, so that's the first seal installed. Just basically looking at the height, and then you can always use the one that you haven't touched to see the level. So there we go, that's all good there. I'll get the other one done. That's the second output seal done. If you leave these yellow caps in there, basically it helps keep the seal spread when you come to put the output flange in. Change the seals there. There we go, we've got a new seal. As part of the output seal comes with new snap rings, so I've removed an old one there, and then it's just a case of popping a new one in. It can be quite awkward to get out, but yeah, much easier to go in. So there's one on the main part of the LSD spool, and there's one in the cover as well. So I'll get that one changed and we can look at reassembling the internals. So when it comes to assembling the LSD spool, you want to make sure that nothing's dry, everything's well lubricated. So I've just got a little pot, a paintbrush and some diff oil in there. So it's basically a case of starting at the bottom and working your way up. So we've got the washers with the cutouts in there like that. So, and basically you've got a conical washer which is trapped in between the two. The way the conical washers need to face is everything needs to be trapping the inside. So you want obviously the ones on the bottom side with the domes like that, and then the ones on the top side like that. So it's all pushing pressure onto the centre of the LSD unit. So our first conical washer, so you want it basically with the lower part of the bevel facing down. And then the next washer, you want it with the two little recesses facing up. You've got the next conical washer, so just plenty of oil everywhere. Same again, you want the smaller part of the conical washer facing down, so like a dish. And then drop that in there. The first install of our dog plate. And after that, one of our new clutch discs. And then we can put our ramps. Okay, and then our first gear to go in. What I'm going to do is install these out of the diff. Okay, so I've just gone and put it in and out a few times just to loosen it up a bit, make it a bit easier. So I'm going to install that as one piece. So next we've got our little planet gears. So it's just going to be a case of making sure the shafts are lubricated. I'll do the same with the clutch disc again, I think, just work it on a few times. So that's our main gear in there. Now we've got our ramp plate. With the oil on there, it can just make stuff a bit sticky to go together. Okay, so clutch disc going in now. Okay, so next on top of the clutch disc, and dog plate. And then we've got a conical washer, this time with the beveled pointing upwards. So now this bit can be a bit awkward to obviously try and hold in place and get the cover on at the same time. So want the notches in the washers facing down. We've got our conical washer pointing upwards again. And we've got the last washer with the notches facing up. That wants to be sitting central. Plenty of oil on there. Now we've got our cover. Then what I did before I took it apart was I made an indent and an indent so I know which way the cover come off. There we go. Right, so what I'm going to do now is have a bit of a clean up before I start doing the bolts, because I need to put some thread lock on, and yeah, everything's just really oily. So give it all a clean up and then we'll be able to do the next step. When it comes to bolting the cover back on, I'm going to be torquing it down to 110 Newton meters, or around 80 pounds-feet. It's 80 pounds-feet, about 108, 110 Newton meters. I'm going to be using high strength Loctite on the bolts. I've upgraded the bolts from 10.8 to 12.9 grade hardware to match the crown wheel as well. So I'll get thread lock on all of these and then get them installed. Now I've got the main diff housing up. It's a case of putting in the LSD spool. And then get your first outer part on. There we go. So the spool will just locate inside the into the outer bearing race, which is built into the cover. So once you've got it like that, you can always tip it on its side. There we go. And then while it's on its side like that, obviously taking note of where your marks are that we made before we stripped it. There we go. I've decided to replace the fixings with stainless fixings. Hopefully that way they won't rust. So we'll get all these in now. Okay, so that's all the side bolts all tightened up now. Now we can go to the rear cover. So I've got the paper gasket as we saw before, but as well as that I will put a bit of RTV around there, just because in the casting there's a few bit of imperfections and corrosion and that, so just to give it a chance of sealing. I've shot blasted the cover. It's come up pretty nice. I would like to vapor home one, see what it comes out like, but this just cost me time to do, so I've got access to a shot blaster. So on this one it's just going to be shot blasted for now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get all RTV on everything ready to go, and then we'll get the rear cover on. So I put RTV on the rear of the casing first, and then just sort of loosely stuck the seal on. I've RTV'd the rear cover, don't judge my piping skills. And then I've gone for new stainless bolts, and there was 3 different lengths, but it's easy to work out because of the different thickness of the cover. Obviously you're going to need a different length bolt. With them being stainless, I'm only going to go to 50 Newton meters. Still quite tight, but so that's the rear cover all torqued up. That's just a case of putting in the output flanges. As far as the output flanges go, it's just a case of pushing them in till it snaps into the snap ring, like so. And there we go. That's our diff back together. There's still fill and drain plugs are out. So what it'll want is, once the RTV's gone off, you'll obviously want filling up with oil. So I'll leave the RTV to set, then I'll get him filled up with oil, level it off, check the nose of the diff up so he's sitting level, and then get it filled up, and then it'll be good to go back in the car. So what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to leave this video here now. So thanks very much for watching. Any questions on doing this, jump into the comment section, give the video a like, and make sure you subscribe for future videos on the project. So I'll catch you on the next video.